So we'll do a really quick look at the previous lesson about the nominalization of adjectives. I don't really want to spend too much time on that because what I'd like to do now we've kind of started almost like a new term is to now focus on vocabulary, speaking in context, and making your Japanese sound natural. So most of making Japanese sound natural actually means selecting the right grammar because Japanese is quite systematic. You don't normally add clutter to kind of make it sound natural. You normally just slightly change the grammar, which is where we're going to start today with the long-awaited formal lesson of ndes and nodes. Yay! And then what I'd really like to do though is devote some time to part out of an exercise book to actually start reading and translating and understanding using a contextual conversation. Yeah. And then actually what I'd like to do, if you've got some, we'll see how much time we've got at the end, guys. You probably won't have any actually, but if you've got some time to do some homework, I would like you to watch the JLPT lesson on ndes and nodes because it's really easy to understand and it's all in Japanese. I don't know if there is subtitles if you need them, but it's really simple. And all the explanations are written in English, but all of the verbal explanations in Japanese, but really easy to follow. I'll send you the link anyway. It's the JLPT, Japanese Language Proficiency Test on nodes and ndes. In fact, if they're all like that, then I might start using those in the lessons because they're pretty short and really easy to understand. Yeah. Right, let's start with this little schniffle. Okay, just a quick reminder of the previous session. So we can also nominalize adjectives, that means turn them into nouns. But this usually means not the physical manifestation of the adjective, but really the degree of the adjective. For example, for E adjectives, to do this, we remove the I and add sa. Remove the I and add sa. So our basic example is atsui. So hotness becomes atsusa. Atsusa. Remember, this doesn't mean the temperature, and it doesn't literally mean the physical energy form of hot, which is heat, because that's netsu. But this means how hot it feels to you. So I can't deal with this hotness. It's so hot. So sometimes there are other ways we can use sa to describe the noun, but there might be other words as well, which we'll come to later, like farness and closeness. There could be other ways to say this, or length, for example. Let's look at another kind of similar thread. Cold is samui, meaning the weather is cold, it feels cold. Coldness is samusa, but again, this doesn't actually mean the physical manifestation of coldness, which would be here, what we call chill, here. So you're looking a little bit confused. It will come a little bit easier. This basically means the degree of coldness, not the actual physical energy form of coldness, like the amount of coldness that your fridge produces. That's here. It just means the feeling of coldness rather than the physical degree of it. Sorry, the physical manifestation of it. For na adjectives, well, actually, na adjectives are nouns or can be treated as nouns as far as we're concerned, so you don't have to do anything with them. For example, benny doesn't mean convenient, it means convenience, so this is already nominalized. Kirei doesn't mean pretty or beautiful, it means prettiness or beauty, so we don't need to nominalize this, it's already nominalized for us.
So Andy, does that mean that na adjectives are so e adjectives are adjectives you can make into nouns, and na adjectives are nouns that you make into adjectives by putting like na and ni afterwards.
Yeah, basically. Were you at the lesson when we looked at the two polar options of what a na adjective can be, where it's either a noun or a na adjective?
I think I was, yes.
We looked at a website and explained the kind of,
yes,
there was a table showing that something is more inclined towards nouns. So they kind of fit in that sort of mid position between nouns and adjectives, and the way that they're used or the type that you select will kind of make it click into either adjective mode or into noun mode. Yeah. So if you remember, for something to become more like something, so more hotter or more colder or more friendly, we add ku at the end of an e adjective. We remove the e and put ku, and with na adjectives we add ni. Everybody remembers this, do they? Yeah. If you want me to slow down to give you some time to write notes, guys, just say, can you pause, please? Is everybody okay? Yeah, okay. And we used to add, we add narimas to the end to say, for example, tomorrow will become hotter. We would say ashita atsuku narimasu, or it will become hot tomorrow. Ashita atsuku narimasu. To say it will become even hotter, we'd say ashita motto atsuku narimasu. Okay. To say something becomes more convenient, the trains have become more convenient. Densha ga motto benri ni narimashita. Densha ga motto benri ni narimashita. But oh, here's Kim. What's Kim doing? He's on holiday. Hang on, let's grill him on this just a second.
He's already grilling, probably. Oh, he looks on holiday.
He does, doesn't he? He's looking very campy. Hang on, let's wait for him to connect.
Wasn't he away once already and had trouble with the audio connection as well last time?
Could be. Kim-san, なんで休みなのにアンディーズ日本語コーナーに来たんですか?
わかりません。
そうだね。I said, why is it that you've come to class even though you're on holiday?
I can't miss you.
Oh. 天気はどうですか? 天気はどうですか?
なあ。
あんまり良くない?
なあ。いいえ。
うん。ここも同じです。
冬? No. Wind was? 風。もっと風です。
風が吹いてますね。
はい。
キムさん、まだベルギーにいますか?
もう一度?
まだベルギーにいますか?
まだ
いや、okay, let's do this in order. 今、ベルギーにいますか?
今?
うん。
Now? No.
はい。
Didn't he ask when I return back to Belgium?
今、ベルギーにいますか? キムさんはどこにいますか?
ああ、フランス。
ああ、そうですか。フランスのどこですか?
フランス、close to Nantes。
あ、ナンテの近くですね。
はい。
おかわいそうに。
Table d'Olonne.
Oh. Everybody, can you just listen a second, because I'm actually going to introduce today's new subject while I'm asking Kim questions. Okay. Kim-san,
はい。
いつまでフランスにいるんですか? いつまで?
Itu, is that a counter?
No, it's when まで
When.
until フランスにいるんですか?
Until when I stay in France.
はい。
How much I say that? 25
日まで。
日まで。
じゃあ、あと12日間ですね。You have 12 more days.
はい。はい。
おー、長いですね。
はい。はい。はい。
で、キムさんは、フランスの周りに行くんですか？例えば、明日、別のところに行くんですか？別のキャンプ場に行くんですか？
Campsite.
Campsite is campsite. This is just English
Yes.
word.
That's the only part I understood.
明日も同じキャンプ場ですか？
明日 Today? No, tomorrow.
Tomorrow. 同じ Same. キャンプ場。It means same.
Same. はい。はい。はい。はい。
じゃあ、
What was the word? Same?
同じ。
同じ。はい。明日、同じキャンプサイトで。はい。
で、another 別のキャンプ場に行くんですか？
いえ。
じゃあ、ずっと25日まで同じキャンプ場ですか？
はい。はい。
くだらないな。じゃあ、毎日ワインを飲むんですか？
はい。はい。はい。
よし。よし。今、フランスのレストランが開いていますか
？If we went to a France restaurant?
やってますか？開けていますか？
開けて。
Are they open?
はい。はい。はい。はい。開けて。いや、オープン。はい。はい。
Hi, Sophie.
Oh, mom.
How is
My Japanese is very far.
No. It's the same. It's just as good as it always was.
Thank you.
キムさん、今、タブレットで見てるんですか？
携帯。
そうですか。じゃあ、スライドがよく見えるんですか？
はい。
スライド見
はい。
るんですか？ OK、よし。はい。OK。Hi, Sophie.
Hi.
Okay, so we're just revising what we did at the last session. So this was just this nominalization of adjectives for e adjectives replacing e with sa. So atsui becomes atsusa, and then we don't have to do anything with na adjectives because they're already in this noun form. Okay, so to say, for example, tomorrow it will become hot, we would say atsuku, ashita atsuku narimasu. But to say we want to make something hotter or make something colder, we just simply replace narimasu with shimasu. So if we want to say that we're going to make something larger or hotter or colder, then we would just use the adverb plus shimasu. Okay, any questions, guys, before we carry on? Are you still there, Kim?
Yes, I'm still there, but
Okay,
I'm not
cool.
trying to use less data.
Sure, no problem. Okay, so let's look. There are specific verbs for making of an object. Okay, but there are some examples where if we use, for example, a an e-adjective, ku shimasu, this might have a different meaning. So there might be a specific verb to mean to make something more longer or shorter, but we'll come to those. We'll come to those now, I think, actually. Oh yeah, here we go. So for example, to heat something, if you said atsuku shimasu, this kind of means to warm the air around you rather than to heat something up. So instead we use this verb atatamemasu, atatameru, to make something warmer. To cool something, to make something cooler, then we would use hiyasu, like wine or some kind of solid or liquid object. And then to cool the air, we use this word hieru. Now, if we used, let's think of, for example, to make something longer. So how would we say this usually without using this particular example? To make something longer using this ku suru. Anybody?
Nagaku suru.
Yeah, nagaku suru. But this usually means not to, for example, to stretch something, but to almost replace it with something longer. So for example, if you went to the tailor's and they were measuring your sleeves and you said, can you make the sleeves a bit longer? Then you don't mean please stretch the sleeves. You want to say, please make them longer. So you then use nagaku suru. But for anything else where you're trying to stretch something, to extend something, we wouldn't usually use nagaku suru. We would use nobasu for the transitive verb nobasu.
And the nobiru?
Yeah, so this is the intransitive verb. If you're talking about your back or your arms, then this is part of yourself. So you would use nobiru to mean to extend yourself. Yeah, exactly this. The same thing for shortening something. If you said michikaku suru, again, this means like the sleeves of a jacket or some trousers. You'd say michikaku shite kudasai. Please shorten these trousers. But to abbreviate something to make it shorter, then we would use chijimeru in the transitive form. Constantina, do you remember the intransitive of chijimeru?
Jijimu?
Chijimu, yeah, exactly. Chijimu. Again, for to gain weight, we wouldn't usually say omoku naru to say last month I got heavier. We wouldn't usually say sengetsu omoku narimashita. You usually say I got fatter. So this is a specific verb which is futoru. And the same for losing weight, we wouldn't say hosoku narimashita. This sounds like somebody has squeezed you into a tube. But to say you'd say I lost weight, I became thinner, you would say yaseru. More, oku or oi means many things, many items. But to increase, we don't usually say oku suru. We would say fuyasu. And to decrease, not sukunaku suru, but herasu.
Quick question, because I think I didn't hear you. The nobasu isn't for extend, lengthen. That means even the time.
Yes. Yep. You can say Kyou no keiko o nobashimashou ka? Shall we extend today's training? Yeah.
So a quick thing, to gain weight and to increase, is the fu in those the same character?
I don't think so. Let's have a look.
Toru is like big with a tail, right?
Yes, exactly. And Fuya. No, it's a different character.
Okay, just saw a pattern.
Yeah. Okay, any questions, guys? Okay, let's just try a few quick examples. I don't, as I said, I don't really want to spend too much time on this. Let's just do one example each. Okay, Tobe. I cannot endure the heat of southern Italy in the summertime. So endure, I'll give you this word so you don't have to search for it. Sorry?
Taeru.
Taeru, good, yes. Actually, usually though, we use taiyo suru. Taiyo suru.
Taiyo. Oh, why is this?
Sorry?
Why is this?
Because it means generally to manage or endure something yourself. Taeru just means to kind of suffer it, whereas taiyo suru means to be able to do something about it as well. You know, I can't do anything about it.
Ah, okay. Okay. So, Itari no natsu. The heat. This was is this so Atsu was hot and heat was netsu?
No, this would mean, so netsu would actually mean the transition of thermal energy.
Okay.
But we would use, in this case, we would use this, the degree of heat, the degree of hotness.
Stand still. Atatakai.
No, atatakai means pleasantly warm. Unpleasantly hot is atsui, isn't it? So
yeah. So atsuku.
No, that's good. It's what we did at the beginning. How to nominalize the E adjective.
I'm so sorry. I didn't have this lesson before.
Okay.
So
so we simply remove the E and add sa. This nominalizes it.
Right. That's atsusa.
Yeah. So what particle do we need between natsu and
ga?
I think it's the heat of the summer of Italy, though. Wouldn't you say?
Okay. So no again.
Yeah. Exactly.
Italia no natsu no atsusa.
Good.
O tayo shimasu. Shinai desu.
I cannot.
Yeah. I cannot. This is what 2 weeks of holidays do to you.
No.
I cannot.
I'm not able to.
Yeah. Dekinai.
Dekinai. There you go. That's it. So dekimasen.
Right.
But as this is the potential verb, then this particle here should be
o.
No, it's the potential verb. If it was just shimasen, it would be o. But this is the potential, so this would be
ga.
Ga. Very good. There we go. Itari no natsu no atsusa ga taiyo dekimasen. Good. Jock. With this coldness, it would be better to wear a much thicker coat.
この暑さなら
this coldness.
寒さなら
Yeah. 寒さなら
上着のもっと厚いものを
So maybe you could actually condense this into motto atsui uwagi.
上着、okay. を 着る方がいいでしょう。
着る方がいいでしょう。 So yeah, this is fine actually. This is kind of sounds a little bit like with keeping this in the present tense, this kind of makes it sound a little bit more like a threat. So you could probably make this softer by saying not kiru, but not the plain present tense, but
no, I can't think.
no. Okay, so think about how we would say this in English. You might say it would be better if you wore a thicker coat.
Oh,
So this is the past tense.
Kita-hoga.
Exactly, yeah. Kita-hoga ii desho. Good. Konstantina, approximately what is the length of your new sword?
For sure, longer than I should have. But anyway.
Is it taller than you?
No, but everybody tells me to make it a toothpick sword, and I just ignore them. Anyway, what? Nanny? What? No, you don't want nanny.
I will, but I don't think it starts at the beginning though. So
Okay.
probably would describe what we're asking first.
新しい刀は 何役 or 役何
Yaku.
Yaku is the length is nagai needs the long no.
Yep.
Nagasu. No.
Nagasu. That's
No.
part of Ukunikashi, isn't it? Not Nagasu, but
Nagasa.
Nagasa. Okay. Nagasa.
Okay, that was Jing. Yaku Nagasa nan desu ka?
Nan desu ka? Okay, if you said this, you would be understood, but it's kind of the words are all a bit in the wrong order, really.
Okay.
You've got the right words, but they're just in slightly the wrong order. So this is the length of the sword that is new.
Okay. Nagasa no atarashii katana. Atarashii katana no nagasa.
Yes, good. What? And then basically, you can now delete all of that.
Okay.
Or so nan desu ka means this kind of like you sort of said if you want to make it approximately, at the moment this is asking quite precisely, you're saying what is the length of your sword. So instead of using yaku in this, you can just replace nan with another way of saying approximately how much. Do you remember what this
Ikura?
is? No, this means exactly how much.
How much? I don't remember. Ikura was the only one I remember. Donogurai.
Donogurai. Yes.
Donogurai
desu ka? Yeah, good. Donogurai desu ka? Atarashii katana no nagasa wa donogurai desu ka? This is good. This is good. Okay, Piotr, dozo.
Quick question. When would you use katana and when would you use tsurugi?
Tsurugi? Tsurugi means a straight sword, like a Chinese sword.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
So you know those you know the deity or
Domyo.
Domyo. Or Omyo, isn't it? Omyo?
No, Fudo.
Oh, Fudomyo. Fudomyo. You'd have seen he holds this kind of the god of fire. He holds this sword and a whip. You seen this guy?
No, rope.
Sorry, rope rather. Piotr? Fudomyo.
Yeah, I'm looking it up as
Okay.
you speak. Yes, I see now. Yes, that's a tsurugi.
That's a tsurugi. Yeah,
Okay.
it's basically a Chinese style sword.
Thank you.
Yeah. You're next, actually, Piotr. How far is it to your house in the country?
anata no inaka no ie kara.
Not kara, but until.
Oh, sorry, made.
Made, yeah.
For is tosa?
Right. So, yeah. Dozo.
Nandeska? No.
Well, again, maybe donogurai.
Yeah, donogurai. Yeah.
Okay. So this is one of the examples where if we nominalize the adjective, we end up with something a little bit different to what we expected. So toi means far, but if we nominalize this to torsa, this doesn't mean distance, but remoteness. It's the degree of farness. So instead of torsa, which kind of says how out of the way and difficult to access is your house in the country, we would use the word for distance, which is, do you remember anybody?
Kyori.
Kyori.
Couldn't you use ku in this?
Ku.
Toku.
Toku means further.
Right.
It's the adverb. Yeah.
Right. Sorry.
Yeah. You've been doing double shifts or something, Ty?
I have been really busy at work.
Yeah.
So, but now it's vacation time now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Right.
So I'm ordering you to sleep after this lesson.
Thank you.
Yeah, kyori is used for distance. So in this case here, Piotr, we could just replace torsa with kyori. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. So I'm still having trouble differentiating between remoteness and distance. I mean, the idea of remoteness, does that relate more to a concept of remoteness?
Good question.
What is it? Because remoteness, to me, literally in a physical way, would simply be, well, a remoteness which can be expressed in a distance. But,
so it's a bit like the difference between temperature and the hotness of Italy, for example. So temperature is ondo. It can be cold, it can be hot. There's no kind of extremity to it. It's just simply a scale. So yeah.
I mean,
so
there are
kyori is also
extremities to temperature.
yeah, of course, but it could be in either direction. It could be both hot or cold. But and distance is the same. It could be a very short distance. It could be a very long distance. So it's not emphasizing a particular.
You mean it implies that it's distance when you say the remoteness?
Right. Exactly. Yes. Yeah.
Also, in your example of temperature, is it, for example, if you say the temperature in Italy or the hotness in Italy, temperature would be absolute, and hotness could be relative to what it is now or a feeling? Or
not really. If you said Italia no ondo, for example, in this one here, Italia no natsu no ondo ga taiyo dekimasen. If I replaced atsusa with ondo, all this means is I cannot endure the temperature of Italian summers. Now, this might mean that I prefer really hot weather, but Italian summers are extremely cold. It's not clear from this which I'm actually referring to. It's just saying I can't endure the temperature. So if you said, for example, I cannot, I mean, this makes a bit more sense. If you said I cannot endure summertime in Finland, then this is now unclear what you mean. Does it mean you prefer to go on a hot summer holiday? But I know Finland this year is extremely hot, but it's not always the case.
Yeah.
You may not know. You might think, well, what do they mean? Does it mean they don't like the coldness of Finnish summers, or they don't like the hotness?
Yeah. Okay.
But if you say atsusa, you're clearly saying the degree of hotness, the degree of upper temperature rather than lower temperature. So the same thing with this this question here. This is only asking, how far is it?
Yeah.
Not it must be really far away, so how far it is. It's just saying basically
it's not
what's the
implying
distance.
either. It's just asking the direct
Exactly. Yeah, almost like a quantitative question rather than a qualitative one. Joe, go ahead.
Thank you.
Andy, how do we make the hottest using psi whatever?
So if we look up Atsui for the weather, this is, I think, kan, isn't it? You there, Wayne? That's this one here. Oh, sure. Sorry. So the word for the temperature being hot, like the summer, this is the onyomi is sho. So we would say sai sho. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
But again, because sho is a really common jibber jabber, if you say this rather than if you write it down, of course, it's very clear what you're saying because you can see the kanji. But if you say this, sho is used for like the smallest as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, you need to be clear, which is why I think quite often you might use, for example, which country has the hottest summers? Dono kuni ga ichiban atsui natsu ga. Sorry, ichiban atsui natsu ga aru kuni wa doko desu ka? You'd use ichiban atsui instead, probably, but when you're talking anyway.
Okay, understand that. Yes, thank you.
Yeah. Okay, David. I cannot believe the difficulty of this test.
Kono shiken no muzukashisa ga shinjiraremasen.
Good, yeah. Shinjiraremasen. Shinjiraremasen. Yeah. So actually, this is, I mean, it's kind of made, this example here now brings us to a point where we might see where we would be careful to try to identify like this unique measure. So for example, ondo meant temperature, didn't it? And kyori meant distance. But is there a kind of non-polar measure of difficulty? So on the spectrum between easy and difficult, so we've got these two words, easy and difficult, on this spectrum. Is there a neutral measure to measure this without using the words easy or difficult in English?
In English, normal. That's the only one I know.
No, this doesn't actually tell you what quality you're talking about. On the spectrum, on the measurement of easiness and difficulty, is there a neutral
average?
No, this doesn't mean anything. Just average just means the average. We're talking about the measure of difficulty of a test. So you can say the easiness of a test, so you're inferring that the test is easy, or the difficulty of a test. But in comparison to distance, in distance you've got near and far, okay? But this is a measurement of distance, right? The word distance doesn't infer one end or the other.
That's true.
It just says it could be short, it could be
distant. Like difficulty implies difficult.
Yeah, I suppose so. Yeah, well, possibly. Yeah, possibly. Well, this is this kind of example here, really, is that there isn't a neutral unit of difficulty, which doesn't either say it's difficult or it's easy, without using those words easy or difficult. So we can't use anything else here except muzukashisa. There isn't an alternative in English nor in Japanese.
Let's make a word.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, maybe there is but as far as I know, there isn't one well, there isn't one in English. I mean, I suppose you could use the word challenge, but even that kind of implies more towards the difficulty.
That's a different connotation to it.
Yeah. Okay, Sophie, could you warm up this ramen for me?
Sorry,
please?
Andy.
Yeah, go ahead.
Relative difficulty.
So this still uses the word difficult.
Yeah, but there is a word in Japanese for relative difficulty.
Ah, okay. And what's that?
Nan-i.
Nan-i. That's got the word difficulty in it.
Nani?
Nan-i. That's the word.
I
see. Right. So, yeah, exactly. Yes. Hard and
together.
easy. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Ah, okay. That's muskashi and
yasashi.
Yeah.
Or yasui.
Yeah.
So that's just simply putting difficult and easy together.
Well, I mean, there is a word for that something.
Yeah. It's kind of a dodge, though, really, isn't it? Okay, Sophie, could you warm up this ramen for me, please?
Kono ramen
このラーメンを
Mhm.
温めてください。
Very good. Yes, exactly. Cool, good. And are you there, Kim?
Yes, I'm there.
How about this one? Could you cool this wine for me, please?
Kono wine o,
Mm-hmm.
and then I would say samu, but I think it's not
No,
the
you
word
can't.
for cooling
Yeah.
something.
There's a specific verb for this, isn't there?
Didn't wrote it down.
Okay,
I don't know.
so the infinitive was, can anybody remember?
Yes.
Iyasu.
Hiyasu.
Oh, yes.
Hiyasu.
Yasu. Yasu. Yasukute kudasai.
So it's a su verb, so su becomes, in the te form becomes,
Shi.
Yep.
Yashite kudasai.
good, yes. And how do you say this in French?
Je ne sais pas.
Really? Don't you need this on a campsite? Don't you have to go into the reception and say, can you call this wine for me, please?
I say it in English.
What? In France?
Oh, you don't understand, so they just give him boiling wine back.
Oh, dear.
We do not speak this language here. Huh.
I saw while you were out that you left your Chateauneuf de Pape in the tent, so I put it in the freezer for you.
Yeah, something like that.
And then you get this lollipop.
This actually happened to me in Japan. The waiter said, red wine. Yes, I've got it nice and cold for you.
I know.
Oh my God.
I've seen them actually make a kind of like an ice pop. What are they called? Frosty pop. It was a drink in a bar, which was crushed ice, all sort of into a slush, and then they poured red wine in it. It was like, why would you do such a thing to red wine?
Well,
I've
it's
seen that in
exactly
an
how
episode
they
of
work.
Black Books, where it's so hot you just got a wine bottle, a stick in the top, in the freezer, takes it out, bashes the
Bash the
glass off,
bottle.
and starts licking it up like a lolly.
And cheese. They do it to cheese as well.
Oh.
I'm sorry, they refrigerate the cheese? You mean?
Yep.
Well, I mean, that's not a bad thing
No,
necessarily.
But I mean,
but in a
soft
restaurant,
cheese.
yeah, you don't. Before eating it, you should bring it. Some cheese is up to room temperature, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, those stupid Japanese. Right. Any more questions on this? This isn't, as I say, a major part of the Japanese language, so we may not use it that much. Cool. Let's move on to the next.
Bath is Luke.
Oh, this isn't Luke the Frey, by the way. Okay, let's move on to today's new subject, and then hopefully we can get some exercises done as well. Not that. Unders and orders, hooray, we got here at last. At least I found the time to actually do some research on this and then create a slide. So this is used for creating context in lots of different ways. There isn't really a kind of easy way of saying this is what it means in English. There's no kind of grammatical equivalent to this. In non-Japanese languages, then we quite often use facial expressions or tone of voice. But because Japanese is so sensitive to intonation to give the meaning of certain words, then there's actually a grammatical form for doing this instead of using tone of voice or facial expression. Actually, this is used an awful lot. We haven't really done it up to now because what I've wanted to do is to give you all of the standard grammar in its kind of rule form. So we end up making sentences that just work even slightly robotically. But in fact, in real life, this ndes is used quite a bit, which is why you sometimes, when Jock gives a response to a question, he will use this undes, because conversationally it's used a lot of the time. You don't normally ask questions disconnected from the scenario. For example, you know, if I walked up to Toby and said, where are you going on holiday? Like this, if I just walked up to him and said, where are you going on holiday? He would think, why are you asking me like this? Where's this question come from? It just sounds like something strange to kind of say out of context. But if I walked up to Toby and said, oh, Toby, by the way, where are you going on holiday? It sounds like I'm trying to start a conversation. It sounds like I'm interested. Maybe Toby's been talking about holidays and there's some kind of other context. So the way that this is done in Japanese is to use not this oyasumi wa doko ni ikimasu ka, which sounds very like an interrogation and very mechanical. You would use this undes ka, or undes, to give it some context. So it's used to express emotion, to infer some unspoken context, to give some emphasis maybe, and to ask questions or to ask for an explanation. Now, as you can probably imagine, this is used basically a conversational tool. It's used in writing as well, but it's basically to provide some feeling to the sentence. So I can't explain in one lesson every single application for it. So we're going to be slightly focused in on one part or a couple of parts of its use. The difference between undes and nodes is very simple. When you speak, you use undes, and when you write nodes. Das ist the rules. So we're going to focus on two main categories today. And in fact, so I probably won't ever explain another category. We'll just use it. We'll learn it by application. So the two main categories are to ask for an explanation or to explain a reason. These are basically the same category. Excuse me. And to emphasize something you want to say, to give your statement some kind of emphasis. This will become slightly clearer as we do some examples. Okay, so let's just before we kind of start off, let's give us some kind of context to these two categories. The first one, to ask an explanation, to explain a reason. I've actually already used the one with Tobe. If I went up to him and said, where are you going on holiday next year? Then we can use undes instead to give some kind of infer some context by just changing the structure of the sentence. Let's think about this one here, to emphasize something you want to say. So let's just change the roles for a second. Jock is now the teacher in a classroom, and I'm one of the students. And I put my hand up and say, Jock sensei, I really want to go to the toilet. Now, what does this mean? What does this sentence mean? I really want to go to the toilet. Is Jock's response to me, well, that is a natural human reaction to having a bladder full of fluid? Or does my statement actually mean something else?
It means I need to go now, doesn't it?
Yeah, please, could you let me go to the toilet is what it really means, doesn't it? I really want to go to the toilet means, please let me go to the toilet. But by using this undes, then it's saying, it's inferring some other kind of thing that you want to say. Places we don't use it are for stating plain, unarguable facts, such as age, nationality, name, etc. unless, of course, you're trying to emphasize a fact. So, for example, there was an example on one of the YouTube videos I watched this morning. It could be that you're actually, for example, ethnically Chinese, but so your parents are Chinese, you were born in China, all of your ancestors are Chinese, but you moved to Japan when you were younger, and now you can speak perfect Japanese, and of course, ethnically you look Asian, and somebody says, why don't you have a Japanese name? And then you might say, you wouldn't, if you just said, Watashi wa Chugokujin desu. All this says is, I am Chinese. But if you say, no, I'm Chinese, then you'd say, Chugokujin nan desu. And I'll explain how to construct this in a second. We wouldn't just say, Chugokujin desu, or even Chugokujin desu kara, because I'm Chinese. You'd say, Chugokujin nan desu, which means, without saying it, that's why I don't have a Japanese name. Okay, let's do the construction. So the basic rule is that everything, you just convert everything into the plain form and stick undes or nordes after it. But let's just see this. So for example, for verbs, the present or past or the affirmative and negative plain form plus undes. So let's try this. So if we use iku as our verb, if you want to say I'm going in the present affirmative, tobe, I'm going would be
Ikundes.
ikundes. Yes, exactly. How would you say I'm not going? Sorry, no. I went. Sorry, Jock Sensei.
Sorry.
That's okay. No
Sorry, I
problem.
was writing. What was the question, Andy?
How would you say I went?
Itandes.
Itandes. Yeah, exactly. Constantina, how would you say I? Present, past. Sorry, affirmative. Oh yeah. How would you say I didn't? I won't go. I won't go.
I don't know.
Okay, so just make the take iku, make the plain negative form.
Ikanandes.
Ikanaindes.
All the verb we can.
Exactly. Yeah. Ikanaindes. Yeah. And David, how would you say I didn't go?
I've just completely lost the past past participle.
Okay, so make the past form first. Sorry, make the negative form first of to not go.
Ikanai.
And now put this in the past. Ikanata. Ikanakata.
Ikanakatandes.
Yes, good. Ikanakatandes. So ikundes, itandes, ikanaindes, ikanakatandes. Okay. All right so far, guys? Easy?
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't say easy, but
for e-adjectives, do exactly the same. So let's do atsui, for example. So to say it is hot, Sophie?
Atsuindes.
Yeah, good. Atsuindes. Piotr, to say it was hot.
Atsukatandes.
Good. Yeah, exactly. Atsukatandes. Tobe, how do you say? Oh, sorry, Kim. How do you say it is not hot?
Atsukunaindes.
Yes, good. Atsukunaindes. And Tobe, how do you say it was not hot?
Atsukunakatandes.
Perfect. Atsukunakatandes. Atsuindes, atsukatandes, atsukunaindes, and atsukunakatandes. Na adjectives are mostly the same, except for the present affirmative. So let's use Benri, for example. For na adjectives, we say Benri nandes, only for the present affirmative. After this, we just use the plain form. So, for example, Benri janai or Benri dewanai becomes Benri janaindes or Benri dewanaindes. You can use either of these. Dewa is slightly more polite. Ja is a bit more casual. For it was convenient, well, this would be Benri datta in the plain form. So we go from Benri deshta to Benri datta. And again, just put the N at the end, Benri dattandes. And then the same thing for the past negative, Benri janakattandes or Benri dewanakattandes. So let's start from Jock. How would we say, I'm healthy, I'm fine.
Genki da. Genki da.
So this is the present and affirmative. So we use this form here.
Genki da.
Not da.
Genkinandes.
Yeah, genkinandes. So this is the only thing we have to be careful of for na adjectives, and we'll come on to this in a second, for nouns as well. Where we used to have da for the present affirmative, this becomes nan, or becomes na, basically. Genkinandes, benrinandes, cantanandes. Yeah. Constantina, how would you say, I am not well, thank you. I'm not well.
Benri janaindes.
I'm not convenient.
I am. That's one part.
To me, you feel quite convenient.
Sorry, I was just looking back and I was just reading.
Here's my convenient Constantina. She fits in your pocket. Keitai Constantina, yes.
I can travel in every pocket. Yeah. Oh my god. Sorry for that. Genki janaindes.
Yes, good. Genki janaindes. David, how would you say I was fine? I was fine.
Genki dattandes.
Yes, good. And Sophie, I wasn't fine. I wasn't well.
Genki dewa nakata desu.
No, one more time? Yes, good. Yeah.
Genki dewa nakatan desu.
Very good. Excellent.
Yeah.
Yeah, good. Okay, you'll be glad to know that nouns are exactly the same as na adjectives. So again, we have to use nan for the affirmative present tense. Okay, let's do tanjobi for birthday. So Piotr, it's a birthday.
Tanjobi nandes.
Yep, good. Tanjobi nandes. Tobe, it's not a birthday.
Tanjobi dewanaides.
Yes, good. Tanjobi dewanaides. Jock, it was my birthday.
Tanjobi dattandes.
Good. Tanjobi dattandes. And Constantina, it was not my birthday.
Tanjobi dewa nanarimasen.
What?
Danjobi Danjobi nari. I don't know how to put the N in the middle.
It's just here. It's just here.
Danjobi nindes dewarimasen.
Yeah, we have to put it in the plain form, though. Are you eating space cakes now?
Huh?
Are you eating space cakes?
I didn't say anything. I'm innocent.
No, just a cereal bar.
There's no marijuana in there or anything.
Yes, unless it's expired, it wouldn't be explain a lot. But I was like, we ran to the toilet, but anyway. Tanjobi na dewa nan. I don't know. I don't know. I'm completely.
Okay. So how would you
no
say, without thinking about ndes or nodes, but in the plain form?
Tanjobi nai.
No, it is not just nai. This means there is no.
Dewa arimasen.
Dewa arimasen. Now put this in. So, but in the past form though, what's dewa arimasen in the past tense?
Dewa arimasen deshita.
Dewa arimasen deshita. And then what's this dewa arimasen deshita in the plain form?
Data?
Not
Nai?
no. Dewa nakatta. So dewa nai. Dewa nakatta. And then with the endes at the end?
So Tanjobi dewa nakatta and des.
Yes, exactly. Just this.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah. Don't worry. Okay. So yeah, Tanjobi nandes, Tanjobi dewa naindes, Tanjobi dattandes, and Tanjobi dewa nakattandes. To be honest, we haven't done a huge amount of plain form for des. We've kind of used it for verbs and e-adjectives. We haven't really done it much for des. So don't worry, Constantina. I don't want to kind of formally make lessons on converting des into the plain form, because we should be able to learn it just by experience, just by doing these exercises. Okay. Hello. Any questions so far, guys? A little bit more to do. Okay. So let's put the application and see some examples then. So if you want to ask for an explanation or to explain a reason, let's take this example here. Why are you late for work? Why are you late for work? So, and then the answer is there was a road accident. So we've asked for an explanation and then we've explained a reason. Now, up to now, probably the way that we've translated the first opening question is "Doshite kaisha ni okuremashita ka?" So okureru means to be delayed or to be late. Doshite, why? Kaisha ni, to the company, to work. Okuremashita ka? So this would be completely understood, but it does sound a bit out of context and mechanical. So it could be that you weren't late for work, but somebody has just said to you, why were you late for work? So your response might be, I wasn't. There's no indication to say I was late for work. It's completely out of context. But if you said, "Doshite kaisha ni okuretan desu ka?" This sounds like the boss actually saw you arrive late into the office, or maybe he saw you running in there with your necktie flying in the wind and you're sweating and everything, and then he might say, "Doshite kaisha ni sorry, not okuretan, but okuretan desu ka?" Sorry about that. Oops, gone too far.
So an road accident.
Oh, thank you. Oh, okay. I'll do that in a second. Thank you. Yeah. どうして会社に遅れたんですか? And then if your answer when you explain your reason, if you just said 交通事故, this means road accident, がありましたから, or just 交通事故がありました. Again, this sounds like a statement purely of fact. It's isolated from any question or any context or any emotion. It just says there was a road accident in this kind of bland kind of way. So if I was to answer this in English, so Toby, ask me in English, why are you late for work?
Why are you late for work?
There was a road accident. This is how it sounds if you say 交通事故がありました. There was a road accident. But if I was to put this into if I actually use kind of facial expressions and tone, can we go again, please, Toby?
Andy, why are you late for work?
There was a road accident. And now it sounds like I'm answering the question, doesn't it? Like I'm actually giving some kind of emotion and context to the answer.
Sorry, if I may interject a second.
Sure, yeah, go ahead.
At some point before, you also said that Nodes made it refer to what was said previously. In this case, if you were answering it, instead of just stating there was an accident, if you would say in English, because there was a road accident, so you use the because to infer that you're referring to the previous sentence, would that make a difference, or is it really, or is that not enough?
I mean, this is basically saying this one here, by putting kara at the end, it's just kind of slightly disconnecting the explanation, because there was a road accident, from any kind of emotion. So, for example, let me give you another example. Let me try and give you, it's going to be a bit difficult because my intonation is not perfect. But Toby, can you ask me the question again in Japanese?
Be late for work?
Yeah, why were you late for work? Why are you late for work?
どうして会社に遅れたんですか?
交通事故がありましたから. I can kind of add all this kind of weird intonation to try and make it sound like
like you're desperate?
I'm desperate. But what it can actually end up sounding like is basically I've mispronounced many of the verbs in that sentence because I've given the wrong intonation. And it can also sound like I'm blaming somebody else if I'm not careful. Or I'm saying, what? Or it can make it sound like, why the fuck are you asking me this question? Who the hell are you? If I kind of get the intonation wrong. So rather than kind of intone it incorrectly, if you just say, Koutujiko ga attan desu, this automatically gives this kind of emotion to it. It automatically makes it an explanation rather than just a plain statement.
At the same time, soften it.
Oh, exactly. Yeah, yeah. So Piotr, let me just help you to understand this by going back to slide 1 and emphasizing this first sentence, the first bullet point.
Yeah, I got that, but
right.
It's a bit of a new concept to express something in speech rather than intonation. Although that makes written language easier, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. But go back to point 1.
Is he breaking up just for me? Okay.
Can you hear me now? Okay.
Hi.
Yeah, just go back to point 1. This is a completely new concept. When would we kind of do this in European languages, where we basically change the grammatical structure of the sentence to give emotion? Generally, we don't. We use facial expression and tone of voice to do this. But Japanese people don't so much do this, and if we try and do it, it's possible we're going to be misunderstood. Yeah.
In English, wouldn't you say well?
Yeah, but did you see that facial expression you made then, Josh? You did that.
Yeah.
Japanese really remain stoic when they speak, basically.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
Because I have seen teachers at seminars going, so you get sometimes you get these expressions as well. So,
yeah, of course. I mean, you don't Japanese people don't do a poker face, but at the same time, if you don't want to look over dramatic, for example, or look like you're not sure, or give the wrong impression of what emotion you're trying to create, what this does, it just gives a kind of automatic context that says this is the reason why, and depending on the context, I'm either sorry or I'm grateful or I really want to express this emotion. Yeah. So
if you were to stuff yo on the end, that would be the equivalent of kind of fuck off. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yes. Koutujiko ga arimashita yo. This kind of sounds like, why are you asking me? There was a road accident, you idiot. Yeah. Yeah. So let's just look at these, just to summarize this then.
Roger, what are you doing here, Roger? Give me a second, Roger's joining us. Hi, Roger.
Hello. Sorry, I'm late. I realised there was this meeting I could attend,
Ah,
and then
okay.
my work meeting overran for the first time in like forever that one. So.
Ah, okay, no problem. But you've landed in the middle of quite a difficult subject, so by all means join in for the rest of it. But it might be a little bit difficult. But let's see how we go. So, for example, "Doshite kaishi ni okuretan desu ka?" What this actually means is, oh, sorry, and here's the answer as well. "Koujiko ga attan desu." What it's actually saying is, "Why are you late?" And the unspoken context is, because I can see that you are late. And "Koujiko ga attan desu" means there was an accident, and that's why, and I'm sorry. That's what this "des" is doing for you. Yeah. Okay, so far, guys?
It's kind of a apology come explanation.
Exactly, yeah. I mean, what this, a really simple way of explaining this is the title of this subject, actually, which is it gives you some context. It automatically creates context for the speaker. Yeah.
So if it automatically creates context, is there any chance of misunderstanding?
Yes, if you use it out of context. Where'd you go?
Well, that's just nasty.
Your camera's gone off. There you are. Yeah, so I think this is why we didn't do this too early, because I didn't want everybody to start using it and just finishing every sentence with "des," when actually you might actually just be making a statement of fact. So, for example, if somebody said, "Where is the book?" then using this "des" doesn't really mean anything. "Hon wa koko desu." You just want to say "Hon wa koko ni arimasu." You don't need to say "Hon wa koko ni arun desu," like it's like you're trying to make a point. Just if it's a statement of fact, then we just don't use it. Yeah. Okay. If you want to emphasize something you want to say, if you want to add some emotion as well, then again we can use this "des." For example, "It's hot in here." It's hot in here. If you just said "Koko wa atsui desu," this literally means it is hot in here. That's all it means, though. But if you say "Koko wa atsuin desu," this means it's hot in here, so could you please turn on the cooler? Or something else. Could you open the door? It doesn't, of course, "des" has got nothing to do with coolers and air conditioning, but it's saying, as it's hot in here, ...
So this is kind of also using it for, as in English, you don't say "it is hot in here," but you say "it's hot in here" to soften the sentence all over.
I suppose so. I guess maybe we would kind of use an emphasis within the sentence to kind of create that meaning. Like if you just walked into a room, you could say "it is hot in here," or you could also say "it's hot in here." And this doesn't really mean too much. But if you said, "Tobe, it's hot in here," and I use this kind of nodding and eye contact and facial expressions, this means, "Tobe, turn on the air conditioning, will you?"
Okay.
Tobe, it's hot in here.
So basically both what you're saying and the expression you want to give.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. It's indicating something unspoken, basically, isn't it? When I say it creates context, it's basically you're inferring something without literally saying it.
Yeah.
But I could say, "Tobe, it's hot in here, so can you turn on the air conditioning?" But I could also just say, "Tobe, it's really hot in here." And I've got this. See, my eyebrows are appealing to you to do something.
Yeah.
"It's really hot in here, Tobe, please."
So get all of your clothes away, and it's like
What?
it's the
It's getting
sound.
hot in here, so please take off all your clothes.
It's a sound.
Okay, so similarly with something like I bought a cat, if you just said "Neko o kaimashita," this is a real statement of fact. I bought a cat. And then the other person would say, "Oh, I bought a car." There's no kind of context setting here. But if you say neko katan desu, this means I bought a cat. Isn't that great? Would you like to come and see it? I love cats, don't you? It's giving some kind of context.
So you got dinner.
Yeah. I like sushi. Sushi ga suki desu. This means sushi is a food that is likable according to my opinion. Very, very mechanical, very calculated, very objective, very factual based. But sushi ga suki nan desu means I love sushi. I really want to go and eat some. Don't you love sushi?
Why did we use none?
This is a na adjective, isn't it? So this is
Okay,
present
okay,
and affirmative.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that's the end of this.
So for the adjectives, we don't use the na, but nan. So we can differentiate that it's the adjective as a statement and the nan like the thing we're doing now, because I cannot describe what we're doing now.
Be careful. This nan is it's only used for the affirmative.
For the affirmative present, yes.
Yeah. So we can use it for adjectives and nouns. Yeah.
This is just really, whenever it's written in English, I'm imagining it as suki na apostrophe un.
I think this actually means it's hot is what it is.
Mm.
Or I like it, it's what I do. Yeah.
Sorry for not adjectives and nouns.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. Okay, let's try some examples, and I think this is why I left it to lesson 67. It's a difficult thing to grasp. It's really about conversation and making your Japanese sound natural, rather than there being a kind of alternative meaning to it. Yeah. Right. Let's try some. So we're going to do this interactively. There's going to be some questions and some answers. Right. So what I'll do is I'm going to name the questioner and I'll name the answerer. And the question will almost certainly, you'll need to use ndes. And I'd like the answer to also be as much as you can using ndes. So Tobe, you're going to ask Jock this question here. Why do you study Japanese?
Jock-san, どうして日本語を勉強しなんです
One more time?
しなんですか
No, just put the verb into the plain.
するんですか
Surun desu ka? Okay, and then Jock, you would say?
日本の文化をわかるようです。
So 日本の文化を
わかるようで、わかるようです。
So I think you probably use tame here.
Okay, わかるために。
And then this is well, this is actually tame is a noun in this sense. So you'd say nandes. Yes, exactly. Nandes. Yeah, perfect. Good. That's it. Jock, you're going to be asking Constantina the question, and then Constantina, you're going to answer in context.
パーティーを開くので、開くが、ですが、ですが、
so
開く
want to use
つもりだ。
Tsumori. Okay, so you can use ndes here possibly as well.
つもりです。来ら
Tsumori
れ
is
ないんですか
sorry, tsumori is also a noun actually.
なんです。
Nandes.
来られないんですか
来られないんですか? Yeah, good. And Constantina, I'm sorry, but I'm busy.
Gomene isogashin desu.
Good. Isogashi desu. Yeah, good. There you go.
Whoa, what?
What?
Piotr, raise his hand.
Proszę, dozo.
It's actually about the question, not the answer. Sorry, Consta. If you're inferring context, couldn't you just say, "I'm having a party"? Wink, wink.
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah. So you could
Yeah,
say,
too long,
for
isn't it?
example, yeah, 今日はパーティーをするんですか? And you can leave this open.
And then leave it open. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But if you just said 今日はパーティーをします.
It's like, I'm having a party and you're not invited.
Exactly. I mean, yeah, it's well, I mean, it's even worse than that. It's like, I'm having a party. It's like, oh,
But
that's interesting.
You could technically leave it out, implying that I'm having a party.
Yeah. It is like adding winks.
Yeah. Cool. Okay.
This is why you
Can
keep
I
getting arrested for sexual harassment, Piotr, because you keep winking at people. Constantina?
Oh my god. Just a vocabulary sorry question. Why Jackson say use the hiraku tsumori? Okay, I know tsumori is the plan, but hiraku is to open. How he make this sentence? Because
Party or hiraku? Hiraku? You mean? I mean, you could use hiraku or suru or okonao.
It's for the have, because technically we haven't done a verb that means to have.
You mean to do something?
Not to do, but like I'm having a party. I know that I'm doing a party. It's English idiomatism. It's not translatable. Why we use the hiraku? That means open, unless it's not this translation of the verb as open. I open a party. I'm planning to open a party.
Exactly. It means I'm planning to launch a party. Yeah, this kind of idea. So it's not hiraku as in to literally open a door.
Exactly, that's what I'm asking.
Hiraku means to kind of open it to people, to launch it, to say dozo, to make it available.
We are open and we are waiting for you. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah,
okay, thank you.
Constantina to David, you look tired. What did you do yesterday? So just before we go further though, let's for the time being treat this as a statement of fact. Okay, just for now. We'll actually, and then we'll use contextual speech for this one. Okay.
So you look tired. I just had it in my brain and I forgot it. Tsukareru is to get tired. So
yep.
Look tired. Tsukareru so desu.
So you actually need to say you look like you have become tired. So,
tsukareremashita. So no, tsukareru.
This is a group 2 verb.
Yeah, tsukaremashita.
In the plain form.
Tsukareta. So desu.
Yes. And then.
Kino wa nan shimashita.
One more time.
Wait. I have the one. What did you do with the verb? Kino wa nan shita. No. Nan shitande.
Nani o.
Okay, nani o.
And then?
The shuru in simple past.
Yep.
Shita. Nan shita desu ka?
That's it. Right. Okay.
Kino
wa nani o shitan desu ka? So this is now adding context. This isn't just saying randomly, David, what did you do yesterday? It's actually saying you look tired. What did you do yesterday? With the inference is you must have done something that was tiring. This is what this standeska is now saying. It's giving some reasoning for the question. And then David?
Really tired. Yama ni nabotan desu.
Yama o nobotan desu ne? Exactly this. Yeah, so this is saying I climbed a mountain, not just I climbed a mountain, but it's saying I climbed a mountain. Of course, this is going to make me tired. Yeah, of course, this is tiring. Yama o nobotan desu. Ah, that's the reason why. It's because I climbed a mountain. Yeah. David, to Sophie, you have a suntan. Where did you go at the weekend? So again, David, let's make this as factual and this is contextual question.
What's suntan?
Hiyake, which is also the same as sunburn, actually. So you just have to use context to kind of define the difference.
So hiyake ga arimashita. Arimashita.
Not arimashita, but you still have one.
Arimasu.
Arimasu. Good.
Shumatsu ga.
Not ga, but this would be time reference. Yep.
Shumatsu ni. Where did you go at the weekend? Shumatsu ni doko ni.
Go on.
I'm just trying to get it right.
Okay.
Go past. So
yeah.
I want to say ikan desu ka.
So think of iku. I'll put this into the plain past first. What's iku in the plain past?
Itan.
Itan desu ka. Yeah.
Itan desu ka.
Yeah. Itan desu ka. Okay. So again, this isn't just saying where did you go at the weekend. This is saying because you have a suntan. Where did you go at the weekend? Means you must have gone somewhere warm, where there was sun, where you could sit outside. This is what doku ni itan desu ka means in this case. Okay, and Sophie?
Okay. Beach ni ita desu.
Beach desu.
At the beach, yes.
This is kaigan, isn't it? Kaigan.
Kaigan. Kaigan ni ita desu.
Yes, good. Kaigan ni itan desu. So this is now giving the reason. This is why I'm sunburned or suntanned. I went to the beach. Yeah. Sophie to Roger. I know you haven't heard the rest of it, but I'll walk you through this. Why do you always go to that cafe at lunchtime? Sophie? Yeah. Okay.
Always. Why do you? Always too many. Why? Kono cafe. Kisaten.
Oh, nice. Kisaten. Yeah, good.
Kono kisaten. What?
I think the subject is actually Roger in this case.
Okay, Roger-san. So.
Yeah.
Roger-san. Now, lunchtime. And always.
Okay, Sophie, I'm going to help you here because these kind of interrogative sentences can sometimes be a little bit difficult to get the order. So what we'll do is we'll start off with a statement rather than a question. So the statement is going to be really simple, and that is, you go to that cafe at lunchtime. You go to that cafe at lunchtime. So let's make that part of the sentence first.
Lunchtime is
this is hiru yasumi. Hiru yasumi.
It's the lunch break. Okay.
Yeah.
So Hiruyasumi. Hiruyasumi wa.
Not wa, because remember Roger's going to be the wa.
Uh,
This is a time
Hiruyasumi.
reference, isn't it?
So,
Hiruyasumi.
oh,
I know. Ni.
no, ni.
It's time
Ni.
reference.
It's time
isn't it?
reference. Yes,
Yeah.
ni. Hiruyasumi ni.
Ni. Yeah.
Roger-san.
Sorry, before we do anything else, just before we go any further. So we don't need to worry about Roger. You're looking at Roger, so you know that you're talking about him. So it's going to be, you always go to that cafe at lunchtime. Sorry, you go to that cafe at lunchtime. You go to that cafe at lunchtime. So Hiruyasumi ni at lunchtime.
Ita nandes. That's the word.
No. We're going too fast. We're going too fast. I just want the question first. So I want you to do this slowly, build up the question, starting from a seed and building it up from there. So I want you to first translate, you go to that cafe at lunchtime, just this.
Cafe, kisaten.
Which kisaten? Which kisaten?
Kono kisaten.
Yeah, or sono kisaten.
Sono kisaten. Yeah, that's correct. Sono kisaten de. So we're.
No. Going is not de, but.
Or ni.
Yeah, good. Yeah, let's use ni, and then go in the.
Ikimasu.
Okay, in the plain form.
Iku.
Iku. Okay, let's leave it there a second. So there's our first main central clause. You go to the cafe at lunchtime. Now we're going to add always. This is another time reference. What's always?
I don't remember.
Can anybody help?
Itsumo.
Itsumo.
Itsumo, yes.
Yeah. And then why?
Why? Dare.
Not dare, but that is who. Remember? That's where.
Why? Not dare.
Who can help?
Naze.
Yeah. I mean, you've got some choice. So you naze, doshite, or nande. These are all possible. So we use naze. Okay. This is a question. So this is the interrogative here. Most of the time, the interrogative is at the front of the sentence. Naze. Oops. Sorry. Naze itsumo hiruyasumi ni sono kista ni iku. Okay, and now we can put this in context, Sophie. So use today's contextualization thingy.
Iku desu.
It's a question. Exactly right. Okay, good. So sorry, I know that we spent a bit of time constructing this, but questions, most people have a problem constructing this in the right order. So I want us to get into the idea of making the statement first, adding the detail in the right place, and then closing the question with the interrogative at the beginning and the ka at the end. Excuse me. Okay, and then Roger, you answer with, it's so convenient.
Benrina.
Roger.
Where's Roger? Oh.
So, Taihen Benrinan des.
Perfect. Exactly. Taihen Benrinan des. Exactly this. Good. Well done. Roger to Piotr. I would like you to pass me that pen.
Piotr-san. Sono. What's pen?
Pen.
Is that problem?
Yeah, it's real.
Sono pen. Wa.
So you've actually said Piotr-san wa.
Piotr-san wa.
So not
Sono pen ga.
You're going to do something
Or-
to it. Oh, yeah.
Or watashi ni what's pass?
This is going to confuse the sentence. So it's watasu is to pass something. So I'm just going to remove watashi ni because otherwise it confuses the sentence because you've got lots of watashis in the sentence.
Okay.
Now, we did this quite a long time ago to ask you say, I want you to do X. Do you remember how to say this?
Watashi masho? No,
This means, shall we? So let me just remind you. So if you say, I want you to eat your vegetables, you say yasai, or, and then we put the verb that you want the person to do in the te form, tabete, and then you say, that is desirable for me, which is hoshii desu. Hoshii desu. This is an e adjective. It is desirable for me. So, if I now just put that down here somewhere. Let's do the same thing here. I want you to pass me the pen. Go on, that's it.
Watashite.
Yep.
Hoshin desu.
Perfect. Hoshin desu. Now, let's think about this, guys. This actually, if we just said this in the factual basis, just to make a contrast, or watashite hoshii desu, if you just said this, then all this means is I want you to pass me the pen, and the other person would say, oh, that's interesting, isn't it? Because you haven't actually said anything. You've just said, my feeling is that I want you to pass me that pen. It's completely out of context. But what does this mean when you say sono pen o watashi hoshin desu? What does it actually mean, guys?
Please pass it as well.
Right.
Don't
Exactly.
just know that I want it.
Exactly. It's like, please. It's a please pass it to me. Exactly. Okay, good. And then Piotr, it is very important that you use adequate saibiki. I'm glad I saved the easy one for you.
Adequate saibiki was jibun no saibiki, ne?
Jubun ni.
Jibun.
Yeah.
Jibun ni saibiki o suru no wa.
Good.
I'm not taisetsu, but was it taisetsu?
Yeah, taisetsu, good. Yeah.
Taisetsu nan desu.
Very good. Yes, it's an adjective, taisetsu nan desu, which means not simply it is important that you use adequate saibiki. If you're leading the seminar, this means what?
Please do it.
Exactly. Yeah, it means do it, guys. Yeah, exactly. Okay, is it a little bit easier to understand now, guys? What this is, how this is actually used. Yep.
The last one's got a subclause in the subclause.
Yes, we love, or Toby loves multiple subclauses, don't you, Toby? Yeah, that's why he likes Shrek.
Subclauseception.
The onion.
Yeah, exactly, the onion. Quite. Yeah. Okay. Any questions, guys? Great. Okay.
Actually made it quite a lot clearer, thank you.
Yeah, it is when you actually put it in. I mean, it's really hard. As you can probably imagine, it's quite hard to teach somebody how to speak something to sound natural. We just have to kind of follow a rule, and then it comes out when we do the exercises.
So that's it. One of the points on one of the slides was ndes is spoken and no des would be written. So basically, each of these sentences, if it was written, it would simply be no des, and that's it.
Exactly, just this.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So, for example, if I was writing to Shido Sensei and saying, I'm planning on taking my examination in Japan this year, then I would say kotoshi, Nihon de iaido no shiken o ukeru tsumori. ちょっと待って。何のですか。
Nano or nano?
ちょっと待ってね。
Writing.
つもりなのです。つもりなのです。つもり。
If the des becomes no des, you just make it nano des. But
なのです。
I was actually going to ask this later, but
So it'll be na ndes or na no des.
なのです。なのです。I think like this. I mean, there's going to be no, for example, I don't think there's no kind of apostrophes in the in Japanese, of course, and no spaces. So it would be simply kotoshi. Hang on. Kotoshi. Nihon de. Nihon. Fuck. Nihon de. Iaido. Shi no shiken. O. Ukeru. Tsumori. No des. No des. And then, but if if I'm writing a letter to a teacher, then I shouldn't just leave it inferred that he's going to have to look after me and sort out all of my problems for my exam. I then need to say, so I'm planning to come to Japan on the 5th of August, etc., etc., etc. But this at least is saying, this is why I'm coming to Japan. And then depending on your relationship, it might say, can you help me? Can you give me any information? Please look after me. Or sewa ni narimasu. Yeah.
Would you just add desu ga and then?
Probably, yeah, and then say, yeah, for example, tochaku no hi wa, I arrive, etc. on the 5th of August, etc. Yeah. Yeah, but I don't have to say, for example, please look after me, please teach me. I don't have to say all this. I can just say, Nihon de ukeru tsumori nan desu kara, or ukeru tsumori nan no desu ga, blah, blah, blah. And then that's all implied.
and if you'd leave out the nano des, it'd basically be, yeah, FYI, I'm coming to Japan.
Yeah, and he would say, well, good luck with that. Best of luck. Maybe I'll see you at the grading. I don't know if I'll be there. Okay, right. Now this is going to be yeah, exactly. Yeah, don't you do that? Right. This is going to challenge my technical competence. So give me a second, guys. I've got this next bit that I'd like us to work on as a picture. I've just got to work out to get it on the screen so you guys can see it and be able to type stuff at the same time. Let me try. Share screen. I think I did this on a document before, didn't I?
You should be able to share just a single window if that's what you want.
Yeah, but it won't let me share the Zoom whiteboard with something else, I don't think. It's either whiteboard
you can share an entire screen. So if you've got the Zoom whiteboard on half of the screen and the document you want to show on the other half, you can share the entire screen.
Let's see if that works. It may not work. Hang on a second. There's the picture.
Nope.
So it's still, yeah, it might work. No, because if I then try to unshare then share again, it's going to ask me screen or whiteboard, and it won't show the whiteboard. I don't think. Let's just try a second.
Well, you could use another document as a whiteboard, like a Word document.
Yeah, that's what I was going to do. Yeah, let's do that. Everybody relax and enjoy the party. Use this one. View. Zoom. Oh, there it is. Then the photo.
At least we're not hearing any, Rabbit, how do I turn on the internet?
You won't know. Right, this might work. Oh, not screen. How's that? Sorry, I just need to do some more. I need to do a little bit of more moving around because that needs to go
So
about
if you
there.
press the Windows button and then left, or
Windows at the left direction key.
yeah, exactly. It'll split it into halves.
Ah,
and then you can
actually, I
use
want
it
it.
on the other half as well.
Yeah, it aligns to a side.
Right, I actually want it up and down like this though.
Okay.
How many tabs have you got open?
Lots. This is my to-do list. I use Google.
Hasn't changed since last year. It's always 3 million.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
At least he's got one window. I mean, he could have 17 windows with 20 each.
Also a possibility. Also a possibility.
And then you spread those over several desktops, which.
Okay, can you guys all read both the window up here and the window down here?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. So just before we start, who cannot read hiragana at all? Who cannot read hiragana completely? Excellent. Katakana, who has trouble with katakana? 1, 2. Okay, so if we have any katakana bits, then just say, and we can get some help. In fact, yeah. Okay, so Toby, you're going to go first. You can see that all of the kanji have got furigana underneath them, so you should be able to read the kanji as well.
Yeah, it's a little bit small though.
The Japanese, how about? Oh, the furigana, you mean?
Yeah.
Okay, how's that? That's about as good as I can get.
I'm reading Kyo, furigana. Yeah.
And this is To.
Tokyo.
Yeah.
Ah, okay. So then I can see. Yeah. So moshi moshi.
Sorry, can you read the person who's saying it? I'm going to have to zoom out there. Very good. Yes, Smith. Moshi moshi.
Tokyo no. Sumisu desu ka?
Smith desu ka?
Senjitsu?
Senjitsu. That's
Senjitsu.
Yeah, that's a little dakuten there.
Ah, yeah.
Senjitsu.
Right. Senjitsu no.
Good.
Yoyaku.
Good.
Tori keshita.
Do you see this here as well, though?
Oh.
Good. Yes, good. Oh.
Tori keshita.
Tori keshita. This is a poorly justified sentence, by the way. There's an E just at the end of it.
In desu ka?
This is tori keshitai.
Tai desu ka?
Yes, tori keshitai desu ga. There. That's a sentence we should be able to translate now, knowing what we've done today. And exactly understand the context as well. So, Toby, do you want to have a go at translating this now, actually? Just to put it in context.
Yeah. Hello. I'm Smith from Tokyo.
That's going to help, isn't it? I'm Smith of Tokyo. Oh, another one.
Senjitsu. This is days.
Right. Yeah. This is a day reference, and this means this is the sen of sensei.
Last day.
Which means
from the sensei.
Huh? In English, the previous day is called.
Yesterday.
The day before?
Yesterday.
Yeah. Yoyaku, forgot. Yoyaku.
Sorry, this is yesterday's. But this means the thing that I did yesterday.
Okay.
Yeah. And then yoyaku?
Yoyaku would be a meeting?
This is a plan or a reservation.
Yeah. Right.
In this case, I think it means reservation.
and I can't. I'm not able to.
No. So yoyaku o. So this is doing something to it, and then tori kesu. This was a compound verb we actually studied when we did compound verbs. Can you remember what it means?
Kesu is to delete.
Good. Yes.
And torimas would be to take back.
Yeah, I mean, it's basically what you said before. Delete. It's basically a cancellation.
Oh,
Tori,
okay.
tori kesu. Yeah.
Yeah.
But tori keshitai means.
This would be I can. Tai, as in body.
No.
No.
Ikitai.
I want to. Do you want to cancel your appointment?
This isn't a question. This is ga at the end.
Right. Not the car. This car. I want to withdraw my appointment.
Yeah, exactly. I want to cancel or withdraw. Yeah. This is reservation. I want to cancel. Now, again, the use of putting ndes ga at the end means.
Yeah, the I'm not sure about the ga at the end.
This is just a kind of ending of a sentence, really. It just means.
Okay,
but,
I want this is to. I'm implying that this is something I want to do.
Right. Yeah. And more than that, it's basically saying, "Can you cancel it for me?" Right?
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. And then Jock. The next person is yoyaku gakari.
Yoyaku gakari. Nanichi no
Basically a clerk, isn't it?
Sorry.
Nanichi
no go yoyaku deshouka.
Deshouka. Good. And this means.
What day? What's the reservation for?
Yes. What's the reservation for? So, sorry, I heard Wayne speaking, and I think, Wayne, you're right, actually. This senjutsu doesn't necessarily mean yesterday's. It means a previous day's reservation, a previous reservation. In this case. Let's have a quick look, actually, because it's used in a variety of ways.
Wouldn't it?
Yeah. Senjutsu.
The other day or a few days ago.
The other
Right.
days.
Yeah. Sorry, Wayne. Yeah, so a previous day, a previous reservation. What day was a reservation for? And then Konstantina Smith.
Okay, this is Asta des.
Yes.
Asta des. Taifuno.
Good.
Taifuno tameni.
Yeah.
Kiga.
Yep, good.
Kiko.
Not ki, but ke, isn't it?
Ke, sorry. Well, it's one line. Keko ste.
Yep.
And that's all I can see. There's even the okay. Shio. I cannot see very clearly. What is it?
This is shupatsu.
Shupatsu.
Oh, sorry.
It's underneath. Okay.
Sorry.
Shupatsu.
Sorry, hang on. Shupatsu. Yep.
Dekinai desu.
Dekinai desu. Dekinai desu. Okay, good. So he's saying.
So it's for tomorrow.
Good.
The taifu no tamen, in order to.
This is kind of a reverse use of tameni. It's basically saying because of.
Because of the typhoon.
Yeah.
Okay. Because of the typhoon.
Or in preparation of. So it's still kind of, it's not exactly saying there is a typhoon, typhoon, and therefore the planes are.
The plane cannot take off.
Yeah, it's
because
saying,
of the.
it's saying it could mean because a typhoon is coming, they're not taking off. So in preparation for the typhoon, they're not taking off.
Okay, so.
But basically, what you said was kind of right because of the typhoon.
Because of the airplane. How can I?
This is a new word actually that I had to look up as well, and it's not even. You probably won't find it in your dictionaries either. But this is a combination of kesu and iku.
In order to leave, to get. No.
So it's a compound verb. Think about this. Kesu means to erase, and iku means to go.
To cancel the going.
Right.
Okay.
So planes are cancelled or prevented from flying.
Yes.
And shuppatsu dekinai desu.
So I cannot. I cannot take off.
Yeah, I cannot depart.
Yes, I cannot depart.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and again here he's used dekinai desu because he's now saying the reason why. Yeah, he's emphasising the reason why. He's not just saying I can't take off. He's saying the reason I'm
because
calling.
Of the typhoon. Yeah.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. David. Your yakusha.
申し訳ありませんが、
Sorry, slowly. 申し訳ありませんが、Yep.
先日のお取り消しのの場合は、
good.
As in the case of.
Yeah, good. 場合は、it says why rather than how. 場合は、
キャンセル
Yeah, you charge.
Cancel charge.
What all that means, huh?
50%.
50%.
かかりますか?
Yes.
かかりますが.
Yes, exactly. Okay, so do you want to try this one?
So the ha is pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah, it's like saying, well, sorry, sucking air through the teeth.
申し訳ありません. I'm sorry, but.
Good. I'm sorry, but.
先日.
So again, this is a previous. This means a previous reservation. Senjutsu, another day, previous days.
It says a few days ago.
Yeah.
The previous torikeshi.
So this is just an honorized torikesu.
In the case of the previous cancellation.
A previous cancellation, yep. Or previous of a cancellation from a previous reservation. Sorry, I'm just putting this in so it's clear what you're saying.
There's a 50% charge.
Yes, good. Excellent.
Or the 50% charge, it says ga at the end. 50% charge is.
So actually, this is ga as in a kind of but.
There's a 50% charge, but.
Sorry, I don't mean it. Sorry, that was misleading. Charge ga.
Could it be a softening?
It is basically a softening. It's a way of ending the sentence rather than saying.
Isn't it?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
So, now, by the way, this is not senjutsu. There's a dakten. It's zenjutsu.
Oh, zenjutsu. Sorry. Zenjutsu.
I thought that was a speck on my monitor, actually.
No, it's the zen as in gozen, as in it's before mai. The other reading of mai is.
Yeah.
Zenjutsu.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So this one is zenjutsu.
Yeah. Zenjitsu. Thank you. Now, let me ask you a question, guys. If she said Zenjitsu no otorikeshi, so all this is the same. Zenjitsu no otorikeshi no bai wa cancel charge ga 50% kakarun desu ga. What would this mean if she used kakarun desu ga in this case?
Maybe I can do something about it.
Right, exactly. It could give you misleading information if you misuse ndes at this case. As Jock said, it sounds like she's going to say, yeah, maybe we can reach an agreement. But she doesn't say this. She's just saying, I'm really sorry, but there is a 50% charge on previous cancellations.
So this is the implication of it's out of my control and there's nothing I can do.
Right. Without undes, though, you mustn't use undes, because undes would then be implying ... maybe we can reach an agreement. Yeah.
So chargio or chargi?
Chargi. What have I, oh, sorry, chargi. Okay, and then Roger, do you know how to go? Smith.
Goju percento mo. Watashi no. Is that a ra? Sugora.
It's a tsu. Watashi no.
Watashi no sugo.
Yes.
What's the third character?
This one here.
Yeah, is that a ra?
That's an u.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sugo.
Yeah.
De wa nai en desyo.
Good. De wa nai en desyo.
Taifu de ikinai des.
Sorry, I can't actually see it myself. Taifu de. Oh yeah. Taifu de ikenai des. Good. Really good. Okay. Do you want to go translating that, Roger?
Well, 50%. I don't know.
Not just 50%. 50%?
50%? Is that what I'm not quite sure what the mo particle's doing there.
This is a way of giving exclamation, like what? 50%?
My
now tsugo. This means my situation or condition.
My situation is not good. I don't know. It's not.
So he's saying watashi no tsugo de wa nai. So it means watashi no tsugo, my situation, de wa arimasen. So this means you're right, Constantina. Yeah.
There is no. I don't know.
No, it's not watashi no tsugo ga nai, but it's not watashi no tsugo de wa nai. De wa arimasen. So this means it's not my situation, which basically means it's not my fault. It's not my situation that's at fault.
Not my situation. Not my fault.
And then he says, "Taifu de ikenai desu." Is that what he said? Yeah, taifu de ikenai desu. So typhoon, of course, is typhoon, isn't it?
Typhoon, and there's an is in there somewhere.
Yeah.
And there's a not go, and I can't rearrange them into an English sentence.
Oh, this is good. So this means I cannot go, doesn't it?
Okay, yeah.
So this basically means I cannot go with the typhoon here, or because of the typhoon, I cannot go.
Right. Yeah.
And then again, he's using the ndes to give this emphasis that it's not my fault. It's because of the typhoon I cannot go. Yeah.
That's like Ryanair.
Okay. Sorry, the order's gone a bit jumbled up. You've done one already, haven't you, Piotr? you not? Oh, okay, sorry. Okay. And then this Clark likes saying the word huh.
Well, when you go back to the text, I can't see the image anymore.
Sorry, let me just move this up.
Yeah, exactly. Perfect.
And then just zoom in a bit. So I'm having to jump all my windows about a bit. Okay. Yeah, go ahead, Piotr.
誠に申し訳ありません。
誠に申し訳ありません。Yep.
ご事情はよくわかりますが、
よく Sorry, it's difficult to type, read, listen, and everything at the same time. わかりますが、yeah.
そういう決まりなので、
決まりなので、yep.
よろしくお願いいたします。
よろしくお願いいたします。That does sound like Rhino, doesn't it? Okay, good. Okay, do you want to go, Piotr?
Well, what's Makoto? I think it's similar to
honestly.
Really?
Honestly.
Yeah, sincerely, honestly.
I'm sincere. Yeah, I'm sincerely vexed for you. Basically, I'm really sorry.
Yeah, so it's like saying I sincerely apologize.
Gojijo. I have no idea what gojijo.
Jijo, I think again it means situation in this case. If you look it up.
And what is the honorific?
Exactly. Yeah, just look at Jijo. I think it's been saying this Jokyo. Jijo or reasoning. Circumstances, conditions, situations, reasons.
What? So I understand your situation well, but
yep. Good.
So you kimari nanode. So you, as in this is the way you say it?
No, well, I mean, this is literally what it means. It means this kind of.
Kimari nanode. Ranking. Kimari?
So kimeru means. What's the verb kimeru mean? Can anybody help? What's kimeru mean? Decide, yeah. And kimaru, this is the intransitive, which doesn't mean so much to decide. It means a set, a decision, something that's been decided, so it's already become a rule.
So, well, basically, this is set. Please understand.
Yes, exactly. Please understand. Excellent. Good. Right. I think we're basically out of time, guys. I'm just going to see how much more is left. That's quite a lot, so we'll do this at our next meeting. Good. That was really good. Well done, guys. See, it's actually getting a lot easier to translate stuff now that we've spent so much time doing grammar. We don't have to spend loads of time trying to learn the grammar as we're doing these exercises, which is what I was originally aiming for. The grammar is really kind of simple once you actually do it. It's then just a case of picking up vocabulary and a little bit of, contextual stuff like there's. It's easier, isn't it?
Thank you, Andy. Very nice.
Thank you.
Thank you for finding kanji with furigana on them.
That's how I learned, to be honest. But there's going to be a time where we have to kind of just dip yourself into kanji and just learn, I'm afraid.
Well, thank you for finding kanji with furigana on them once, and then it doesn't list them from then on.
Exactly, yeah. You have to just try and memorize.
Just want to say that was my official translation I ever tried with audience.
Hey, well done. See, it's possible. Great. Have a nice day, guys.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Ciao.
Ciao.
Bye.
Gozaimashita.
Gozaimashita. Gozaimashita.